Hi, I'm Kyle Martindale, and I'm an Episcopal priest currently serving at St. Stephen's Episcopal Church in Pearl River, New York. This is Episcopal Priest Explains. The idea behind Episcopal Priest Explains has been something I've been thinking about for a couple years now and working on. And the idea is that there are things both at church and outside of church that are part of my life, and I think I enjoy sharing those things and think it's fun to share the information and my ideas about things with folks. And people in my parishes in both Nebraska and New York, have enjoyed sharing about those things, and I want to be able to share them a little more broadly. And so what I'm going to talk about is different things that might have to do with church, why we do things the way we do, what we believe, but also I'm going to mix in different things that I like in my life, different pop culture things or different things that I find interesting and want to bring into this conversation, and that might just be funny to hear an Episcopal priest give my context on it. So the idea is that Episcopal Priest Explains covers a broad category of things, not just church things, but I'm hoping that you get a broad set of information both about those church things and about the world in ways that we can talk about and share about and have joy with, especially in a time where we often don't share our joys with one another on social media and elsewhere. We get on to complain, we get on to fuss at one another, but here we're going to get on to talk about things that interest us and are exciting and new and maybe a little weird, and you've always had questions about them. So I'm always going to address questions that I receive too. So an Episcopal priest, to me, and for me, that means that I'm called to serve the world and the church in a new and imaginative way. In the Episcopal Church, we've been talking about social issues for the last 50 years and trying to work to a place to where we can be kind of on the forefront of social justice issues and progressive Christianity in the United States. We've made our statements about who can be a priest and a bishop, and that means anybody. So members of the LGBTQ community are members of our clergy, and we have women clergy and have had since the 70s. We fully support same-sex marriage, and we also acknowledge that sometimes marriages don't go the way you expect them to, and we allow for remarriage amongst the members of our church and our clergy, because we acknowledge that God's love doesn't stop just because something happened in our lives or just because God made us a certain way. We believe that God made us each in God's own image, and that looks like the diverse, both racially, ethnically, socioeconomically, but also in regards to human sexuality. And so what it means to be an Episcopal priest for me is to be there and to declare God's love, and the fact that God's love is for everyone. The great commandment from Jesus Christ is to love God as with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your strength, and to love your neighbor as yourself. And that means that there aren't limits to that love. It's for us all. So the first 3 episodes of this series of Episcopal Priest Explains will cover first unction, which is the laying on of hands for healing that we do in the church. The reason why the first 3 are all churchy is because with our quarantine that we've got because of the current health pandemic crisis around the world, I wasn't able to teach these in person. And so we've got unction, the laying on of hands for healing. And then the second episode will be on marriage, which is holy matrimony, and the Episcopal Church's stance on that, who can be married, who can be remarried, and all of that. And then the third episode will be on holy orders, which is ordination. That's what I've received to become a priest. And so we'll be talking about what it means to be called by God, because really what holy orders is answering a call from God. We don't hit the ignore button on the side of our phone. And so that's going to be our first 3 episodes. After that, I'm going to move into a little bit of pop culture and some things that you might find really wacky for an Episcopal priest to be talking about at first. Please stick with us. So thank you for joining me, and I hope you enjoy what the videos and I'm also doing this as a podcast, all the episodes that are to come. Enjoy and subscribe and stick around a little while.